Coco Gauff's powerful truth on racism in tennis, a game-changing call for pride, pain, and equality. The stadium lights in Melbourne glowed like burning suns as Coco Gauff stepped onto the center court. It was supposed to be an ordinary post-match press conference. Simple questions, a few photos, and then a quiet walk back to the locker room. But destiny had other plans. She had just won one of the most emotional matches of her career, coming back from the brink against a top-5 opponent. Sweat still clung to her forehead. Her chest rose and fell with exhaustion, and her wristband was stained with clay-red grit. But it wasn't the match people would remember. It was what came after. Something had been building inside her for months. Coco had carried a heavy truth, a quiet storm growing in her chest. She smiled during interviews. She signed autographs. She lifted trophies. But inside, something cracked a little every time she stepped into an arena and heard whispers that weren't about her tennis. She's too loud. She's too emotional. She's not grateful enough. She's just a product of hype. Some of it was subtle. Some of it was cruel. Some of it was unmistakably racist. Coco had learned to ignore for years. She thought ignoring meant staying strong. But she wasn't a little girl anymore. She wasn't just playing tennis anymore. She was becoming a voice, a force, a bridge for change. And tonight, after months of silence, she was done ignoring. The question that opened the floodgates. A journalist raised her hand and asked casually, "Coco, you played amazing tonight." But there were some comments on social media accusing you of being too outspoken about social matters. Do you think you should focus more on tennis and less on everything else? Coco froze. The room quieted. Her coach shifted uncomfortably in the back row. Her mother, watching on the screen back home, sat up straighter. Coco took a slow breath. Then another. And then she let go. Her words came like fire and healing. Coco leaned forward, her voice steady but vibrating with emotion. "Can I be honest?" she said. The room tensed. Cameras zoomed in. The world leaned closer. She continued, "For years, I tried to stay quiet about racism in this sport. I didn't want to be tagged as too political or too angry. I didn't want people to think I was complaining instead of competing." A few reporters exchanged glances. Coco went on, "But every time someone tells me to focus on tennis, they're telling me to ignore something that follows me onto the court before any opponent does." She placed a hand on her chest. "Pain follows me." The room fell still. She told the truth the sport needed to hear. "When I walk onto certain courts," she said, "I hear comments that don't come from the love of tennis." Her voice thickened. "I hear the word aggressive used differently when it's me." Click. Cameras continued firing. "I hear fans boo me for things they cheer other players for." Click. I see the double standards. The commentary about my body. The tone policing. The unnecessary questions. The way some people praise my talent but attack my existence. Click. Her jaw tightened. That is racism in tennis. And pretending it doesn't exist doesn't make it disappear. Her pain became a call for pride. Her next words came from somewhere deeper, past a lifetime of swallowing her emotions, past the years of trying to be polite, past a moment she pretended she didn't hear the things whispered from the stands. "I'm proud of who I am," she said, her voice rising. "I'm proud of my skin. I'm proud of my culture. I'm proud of the little black girls who watch me and see possibilities instead of limits." Her hands began to move as she spoke. "I will not shrink myself so people feel comfortable." Dead silence. I've played my entire career walking into rooms built for others. Tennis wasn't created with people like me in mind. But I'm here. I'm winning. I'm working twice as hard to be respected half as much. A reporter lowered her pen, tears forming. The story that broke the room. Then Coco revealed something she'd never shared publicly. "During one of my matches last season," she said quietly, "a man near the tunnel shouted at me, 'Just another angry black girl.'" Gasps rippled through the press room. I heard it. I felt it. I carried it all match long. And I still won. But afterward, I cried in the locker room for 30 minutes. Her voice trembled, but she did not break. That wasn't about tennis. That was about being black in a sport with very few people who look like me. She lifted her chin. And I am done pretending it doesn't hurt. Then came her game-changing call for equality. Coco sat taller, eyes blazing with purpose. This isn't just about me, she said. This is about the next generation of players. The ones coming behind me. The ones who shouldn't have to choose between speaking truth and being accepted. She leaned into the microphone. Tennis needs to face this. Not bury it. Not sugarcoat it. Not pretend it's a few bad apples. Her tone sharpened. We need education. We need accountability. We need diversity in coaching, officiating, commentary, leadership. Cameras clicked in frantic rhythm. We need equality not just in prize money, but in culture. A pause. And we need pride, not shame, in our differences. The room reacts. Some reporters looked stunned. Some looked ashamed. Some, those who understood, looked grateful. A young journalist in the front row whispered, "This is history." Another typed furiously, "Gauff delivers the strongest statement of her career." Her coach wiped his face with his sleeve. Her agent placed a hand over his heart. And her mother, miles away, whispered to TV, "That's my baby." How the world responded. Within minutes, the clip of her speech hit social media. In 5 minutes, it hit 1 million views. In 15 minutes, the hashtag #GauffTruth trended globally. In 1 hour, Coco after the storm, hours after the conference ended, when the cameras were gone and the arena lights dimmed, Coco sat alone in the locker room, a single towel wrapped around her shoulders. Her head leaned back against the wall, her breathing soft. She replayed everything she had said, all the emotion she poured out, the truth she finally let breathe. She felt lighter, stronger, more herself than ever. Her phone buzzed. A message from her dad. "You didn't just win a match today. You won a moment in history." Another from her grandmother. "Your ancestors are proud. Keep shining." Coco smiled through tired eyes. Her final words of the night. As she walked out of the stadium, a young black girl stood with her mother near the exit tunnel. The girl held a poster made of cardboard with messy handwriting. "Coco, you speak for girls like me." Coco stopped. She knelt down. She hugged the girl softly, and she whispered, "Never be afraid of your truth." The girl nodded, tears in her eyes. A new chapter for tennis. The next morning, headlines around the world exploded. Coco Gauff ignites equity movement in tennis. A call for change. Gauff opens racial dialogue tennis can't ignore. The speech that shook the sport. She didn't just spark a story. She sparked a movement, not with anger, with honesty, not with chaos, with clarity, not with blame, with bravery. Coco Gauff didn't just talk about tennis. She changed it, and she did it by telling the world the one thing it needed to hear. The truth. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.